Hey everyone, this is Phil, and in today's video, I'm going to be going over my Airsoft kit for 2022. This is going to be a full kit overview from head to toe of all the pieces of equipment I'll be using, including some new additions that I'm really looking forward to checking out this year. We'll also be featuring some of the old favorites, and I'll be explaining to you some of the decisions that I've made along the way and why I'm excited about certain pieces of kit that are new to me this year. So let's get to it. So to kick things off, let's look at my helmet setup, which I have over here. This is a replica fast helmet. So many airsofters choose to use replicas, and these are totally fine for airsoft. This is really going to be a bump helmet and provide a little bit of protection from getting hit. When I picked this particular helmet, which I've been using for a few years now, what was really important for me was to have the inside retention that is adjustable. So you can have some that are basically just like a bucket, but I had one before and it was really not comfortable. So with this, I have one retention strap all around that I can tighten to really cinch down the helmet. And for me, that's really, really helpful because I also run a GoPro on the front, and that helps stabilize the whole setup. The last thing you want when you're recording footage is to have the camera wobbling around. So while this is a replica, it's actually not the cheapest replica available. I think I paid around like $80 Canadian for this, and it's quite rugged. I've had no issues with it, and as you can see, it'll take rail attachments, which I'll get to in a second. As you can see, I also have a fabric helmet cover on there. I have it painted underneath, but I found that the paint was really not as concealing as actually having a fabric to absorb a lot of the light. Helmet covers are also really great because they allow you to run cables underneath them. So as you can see with the Ear Pro here, I'll get to that in a second, I have the cable running underneath there, so it's a little bit neater for cable management. On the front, I have a low profile GoPro mount and a GoPro, which of course you guys would know from watching some of the videos. This particular GoPro is a GoPro Hero 6 Black, so not the newest generation, but it's perfectly fine for the kinds of videos that we make. And I just want to point out that I also do have a waterproof housing on this. This is actually a diving housing. And the reason why is because the GoPros nowadays don't come with this type of casing. They come with what they call a skeleton case, but it really doesn't do a whole lot to protect the lens. So when it comes to BBs actually impacting the GoPro, I wanted something a bit hardier. I would never go diving with this particular one because it's very inexpensive, but it does provide protection in terms of like the Lexan front and stuff from any sort of impact from a BB. Something that's relatively new as well to me is this Ear Pro. I picked up this Ear Pro last season. These are Earmore M32s, so they're not the Pro version, they're just the tactical version. And these are great for airsoft. They provide really good amplified hearing. They're very comfortable for long-term wear. I've had really no issues, and they work perfectly with my radio. It's been really excellent using this. I use rechargeable AAA batteries in there. I have like 6, so I always have spares on me in case they do go dead during a game, but I've never had that issue so far. The battery life has been excellent. So if you're looking at amplified hearing, these are certainly a good option. The only thing that I would caution you is that the mounting attachment, although they do go fine on these rails, they're really not intended for replica rails, so there's some tolerances and some variance there. So with a real rail, these would just sort of like click and slide on. Not so with airsoft replica rails. I had to do a little bit of heat forming and treating to be able to slide them on perfectly, but they're on there now and they're not going anywhere. It was just a bit of a process to get them on, but I mean, you also don't want them too loose either. So this was really great. I had a little bit of issue wearing these Ear Pro with my rifle setup, and I'll talk about my rifle setup in a second. But they were really preventing me from getting a good sight picture with my previous setup. So I had to make some modifications. So just like we say all the time, if you're going to change pieces of your kit, you really need to be conscious of what else might be affected by the changes. It could be nothing, but you also could see some changes. And another example of that, last season I started trying to use an excavator style mount for the GoPro, which is a mount that comes out and then the GoPro hangs underneath it. I found that absolutely horrible for aiming. Even with a riser, it was a real pain. So I had to ditch it. But so just be mindful of those kinds of issues when you're looking at making your kit swaps. So next up is my trusty iPro. These are ESS Advancer V12s. I've been using this particular model of iPro since about 2009. They're easily found surplus on eBay because they were issued to the United Kingdom Armed Forces. So you can find the frames as well as the lenses, which are removable. and replaceable with different colors. So you can have yellow like I have. You can also get smoke tinted. You can get clear. Unfortunately, these particular model of V12s are no longer in production by ESS. So whatever's out there is whatever's out there. They have replaced it with a newer model, which I haven't had a chance to try. But these ones have been serving me amazing. I've only ever had 2 sets of the frames themselves. And then I've had many of the actual lenses replaced as they've gotten worn. This is an excellent set of eye Pro, and I highly recommend it to everyone. They're low profile enough that they really don't get in the way. They breathe really well, so you don't get fogging issues. Just a really excellent piece of kit. Additionally, this year, I'm going to be using Face Pro. This is my very first time using dedicated Face Pro. I have it around my neck here. It is a Delta mic face protection. So it just fits over my face like so, and it will protect really my teeth. It won't do much for my nose, but that's okay. I'm really worried about more my mouth and my teeth for protection. I was very kindly gifted this set of Face Pro by someone who lives in the UK, so it was easier for them to get it and send it down my way. But it's just, I'm really excited to use it. It's my first time really using Face Pro that I'm not gonna find obtrusive. I've been doing my ready ups and stuff like that with it on just to see what it's like, and it's absolutely no factor. So I'm very excited to get on the field and see how it's gonna help protect my face. And even in the terms of the mental game, I'm curious to see how that's gonna play out. So really excited about that. Coming down the line still, we can talk about my chest rig a little bit. So this is something that I picked up last year. One of our latest videos was about the chest rig versus the plate carrier, and I featured this one pretty prominently. It is a TMC Microfight, which is a replica of the Spiritus systems of the same name. But basically it allows me to carry 6 mags right on my front, as well as have a dangler pouch for a battery, any sort of snacks or aids that I need, like a multi-tool or pen or whatever, can all fit in there very easily. It's super lightweight, super low profile, doesn't interfere with any of my kit, and it's really stable. Even when I'm running and stuff like that, it's really not moving around a lot. So it's a really great platform. You can see I've got my name tape on the front there. It holds my PTT for my Earmore comms. I found that the positioning here is great because it has all kinds of MOLLE and straps you can clip into with no problem. It's on my left side because primarily this is my reaction side that I'm going to be using to activate my comms. I was very happy with how it ran for me last year, so this year, same deal. Really excited to get back on the field with it and keep putting it through its paces. Now let's talk about my rifle. So as you can see, I've got it here. First off, I am still running the Faro Concept Slingster. This is an excellent 2-point sling. It mounts directly onto the rail with a rail attachment up here, and I have an ASAP plate on the back, which allows it to transition sides, shoulders very easily. The rifle itself is a full metal King Arms M4. Now there's nothing stock left in it, and I'll go to that in a second. It has a Block 2 12.5-inch rail on the front, and it has a Magpul style stock on the back. I like this particular stock because it's thinner. It allows me to get in a little bit tighter with my rifle. I have a shorty grip on the front here by Blackhawk. And I'm running on the front, and I don't have it mounted here, but it does have a selfie mount for a GoPro, so I'll be able to get the selfie angle when I'm playing games, as well as a run cam. And this is a 40mm run cam. This is a brand new piece of kit that I have this year. This is going to be really helpful in getting more in-game footage that I can see where the BBs are actually impacting, which makes for a little bit more entertainment. And I also have a Lexan clear protector that is going to go right on the front there to protect the lens on the run cam. So this is a new investment for this year, and I'm really excited to try it out. I also have my trusty SRS sight. I've been using this particular sight for many years. It's excellent. This year I'm going to be replacing this kill flash with a Lexan protector that's going to slot right in. And as you can see, as some people in Discord have pointed out, this is sort of a cursed gun image. It is on a riser that is not particularly pretty. This riser is about like a 3/4 inch riser. The reason that I have it on a riser is so that I can clear my ear pro much more easily, and now that I'm using it. And it's been perfect. It's been exactly what I needed. So if it's ugly and it works, you know what? I particularly don't care. It gives me the performance. It allows me to do what I need to do on the field with it. So if you find that you've been having trouble getting a good sight picture every time you raise your rifle, you may want to think about getting a riser for your sight rather than tucking down even further or struggling to really find your dot. I'm also running backup irons as well. They just flip up. They're not particularly useful in the context of having the sight, but I could easily remove that if there was something wrong with the optic and just use my backups. So this is the rifle externally. Internally, it's basically the same that it's always been, except now it has a much longer barrel. It has a 455mm Prometheus barrel with an Elvish Tack R-Hop patch. So this particular rifle rail is 12.5 inches. The outer barrel itself is 14.5 inches, and the inner barrel is 455mm. Inside, I've got a Teenley motor. I have SHS pistons, SHS gears. I have a BTC Spectre MOSFET, just like I always have, and it's rear wired into the stock to Dean's, and I run an 11.1 volt Turnigy batteries. Turnigy batteries are what we've been using for a really long time. We also have Tenergy batteries, which have been excellent, and of course Titan Power is a really good brand that we have all used in the past as well. But internally, not many changes here. The only thing that I will point out is that I do have here a rotary hop-up. This is something that's relatively new. It's new with the longer barrel that I have. I had tried using a max hop-up with my previous rifle, and because of the body confines of the G&P, it really didn't work the way that I wanted to. So now it's going to go into one of Pat's other projects. But I really like the style of the rotary hop-up. I like the precision that it gives. So we have a CNC machine rotary hop-up in this rifle now as well. Moving down the line, we also have my magazines, which I didn't talk about when I was going over with the chest rig, but the magazines that I use now are primarily going to be the PTS EPM mags. These are fantastic mid-cap magazines. They feed in basically everything. They take about 150 rounds each. They're just truly an excellent mag. Now, they are very expensive compared to, you know, like $5 or $6 plastic mags that you can get, but these are worth the money, and getting them sort of 1-2 at a time is a good investment because they will last you a really long time. I'm very, very pleased with the performance of these mags, and so that's why I have 6 here, and I also have 2 on my belt line at this time. So now let's look at my belt line. So on my right hand side, I have my TM MNP9. This is a completely bone stock TM MNP9. There's literally nothing else I can tell you about this other than it's bone stock, and the performance is exactly what you would expect from a bone stock TM. I rarely ever use this on the airsoft field, to be completely frank. We've talked about it on the podcast before. It sometimes comes out of the holster, but most games it goes into the holster at the start, and at the end of the day it comes out, and that's the only time it's come out during the game. I use it primarily for really close quarters if I'm going inside a building or something, because I don't want to use my rifle at that particular distance. For me, it's just a matter of practicality and respecting the other player. If I think I'm going to get the drop on someone really close, there's no reason for me to shoot them with this. I can easily take this out and engage. Very rarely comes out, but I like having it just so I have the peace of mind to know that if I do need to switch, it's there for me. There's lots of stuff that I could do to make this more performing, but for the amount of times that I actually employ it on the field, it's not really worth it. This style of Serpa has served me extremely well over the years. It's retained my sidearm when I've taken falls, rolled down a hill, so I'm really, really happy with the performance, and it's exactly what I need for airsoft. Looking at my left side now, you'll see I'm running an HSGI double M4 taco. This is a real taco. I found that replica tacos, the bungee really doesn't keep retention after a while. You don't have that problem with the real variants. So this is an absolutely legit HSGI taco. I like having that for my beltline reloads. They're just really, really convenient. I also have 2 Kydex holsters here for tornado impact grenades, which I don't have on my person at this time. These just allow me to clip and unclip my grenades very quickly, very easy to deploy. It's just a matter of taking it out, pulling the pin, and off you go. And then finally on the back here, I have my HSGI magnet dump pouch. Historically, I had never been a fan of dump pouches, especially the traditional Cordura dump pouches that we see that are really big and thick and bulky. I just found them not great. They get in the way, they flop around, they scratch. They really were not for me. I did not find them enjoyable to use or practical to use. And for the longest time too, I was really an advocate of just dropping my mags on the floor. And the reason why was because my magazines were $5 a pop. But now with my PTS mags, I really don't want to be losing them. I really want to retain them as much as possible. And so consequently, I wanted to get a dump pouch. And what I love about the magnet dump pouch is that it is complete mesh, which means that it weighs nothing. Water just drips right through it. It doesn't retain anything. And it also folds up and out of the way if I'm not using it. Now, these are a bit more pricey. I was able to get one from someone who was selling them used, but excellent dump pouch. Another variant of dump pouch that I've used in the past is a lightweight dump pouch that only holds a couple of mags. But as I have more mags that I want to retain, I found that that wasn't quite enough, which is why I moved to this type of dump pouch. Let's look at my belt now. I'm wearing a 511 Tactical Sierra Bravo duty belt. What I really like about this belt is that it actually velcros onto an inner belt. So the inner belt actually holds up my pants, but the outer belt can just come off just like this, and it has Velcro on the inside. This is really wonderful because when you are in the safe zone, when you are taking a breather, if you don't need to use your belt for whatever reason, you can just take your belt off. If your belt is actually looped through your pants, you can't actually take your belt line off without taking your pants off, which is not super convenient, right? Now, some people might hear, well, Velcro is not really secure. The Velcro that they have on here is extremely fine, it's extremely aggressive, and so it adheres extremely well to the inner loop, the inner belt that I'm wearing right here. Additionally, when I wear suspenders, which I sometimes do, I loop the suspenders through the inner belt, because of course if you loop it to the outer belt, you can't take the outer belt off without taking your suspenders off. So you wear your suspenders on your inner belt, and then you put the outer belt right over the inner belt, just like that. And it's really this simple to get the belt on and off when you're on the field. Really convenient to use. So a couple of more items. So number one, the BDUs that I'm wearing. I am currently wearing Truespec Tru, so the Tactical Response Uniform, tops and trousers. I've been using this particular model of Truespec for many years. It's really excellent. The durability is great. I had to have them tailored and altered a little bit because I am a little bit shorter, as you guys know from the Discord and from previous videos. And so although I had to wear a large in the pant, I did need to get it hemmed upwards because I'm not large tall. It was a very easy alteration for a tailor. It didn't cost me a whole lot of money, and I've been using them ever since. Excellent piece of kit, no tears, no rips, nothing like that. Sometimes you get a little bit of wear around some of these seams, but I haven't had any issues. I like that they have pockets on the side. It allows me to carry some smaller items that are, some things that you want to keep on the field. So you can carry, for example, some wipes for your iPro. You can also carry your wallet in your pocket here, although you can also carry it in a dangler if you happen to have one. Pens and stuff like that as well are really great. In terms of the pants themselves, you can't see because they're out of frame, but there are built-in knee pad pockets, and I have knee pads made out of EVA foam that slip right in there, so I don't wear any external knee pad. The knee pad also doesn't show, so it's not like some of the Cry Precision uniforms where you can see the hard knee pad on the outside. For me, they just slip right into a pocket, and it provides me the knee protection that I need when I'm playing on the airsoft field. Another article of clothing that I wear is, of course, gloves. I've said it in many times in the podcast. Pat has said it as well. If you play airsoft, you should wear gloves. It protects your hands from all the different stuff that exists on the field. It could be debris, it could be rusty nails, it could be, sharp cover, it could be if you take a fall. Whatever the case is, you really ought to be wearing gloves. These are mechanics gloves. They are in Woodland, so they just match my outfit. Previously, I've just used regular black contractor gloves. Those are also fine. They have a leather palm. They provide really good grip. They're not great for like fine dexterity work, obviously, like most gloves, but they're excellent. They're not very expensive. You can get these on Amazon for pretty cheap. I can't recommend these enough. I'm on my second pair. The first pair failed sort of in the fingertips, like many gloves tend to do, and I just wanted to get a new pair. But these are great, super lightweight. They get the job done. So we've talked about our hands. Now let's talk about our feet, and we can start off with socks. We've talked on the podcast before that socks are a really important comfort item. They keep your feet dry and warm, and if you have bad socks, that can really be uncomfortable. That can lead to blisters and so on, so it's no fun for anybody. So if you're able to get good socks, you totally should. For many years, I used an Under Armour knee-high boot sock. They were really great because they kept stuff out of my boots, out of my socks, but after a while, I just found that they were really too much. Like, it was too heavy, it was too warm, and although they did provide really good protection from sort of the elements, they weren't really great at keeping my feet supported. So now, I tend to use more like hiking socks, regular hiking socks that have good ankle support, good arch support, that are moisture wicking to help keep the moisture out from my feet, and that's been really much more comfortable for me. I mean, if you go to any sort of hiking supply store, you'll be able to find good quality hiking socks. Some companies that you may consider is Darn Tough or even Smartwool. They make excellent quality socks, and I can't recommend them enough. Additionally, as I've mentioned in the past, I've moved away from more military style tactical footwear, and I've moved towards a civilian hiking shoe. So this here is a Merrell Moab. This is the waterproof version. They do make a Gore-Tex version as well that some of the guys have picked up. This is just a hiking boot. It's a hiking boot that is waterproof. It is very lightweight compared to a military boot. It has very good tread. It has very good ankle support. So this is the mid-rise version. You can get a version that's higher. You can also get like an ankle cut. For our purposes in Airsoft, a mid-rise or higher is what I absolutely would recommend to provide you the support that you need on the field. But these are excellent. They are, when they say waterproof, they do mean waterproof. So although they're not Gore-Tex, you can put water in these as a test and you'll see that it does not seep out, which means that conversely, water does not come in. Now, that doesn't mean that you should be going through a swamp with these. And of course, if you get water over the cuff of the boot, then you're going to get water in your boot. But I've been hiking and I played Airsoft with these and they are just excellent. For the price, you really can't beat it. There's of course other brands out there, including Salomon's, like the GTX, excellent hiking boot as well. But for my money, this is what I was able to get here. And they're just an excellent hiking shoe, provide me the comfort that I need. And like I said, perfect for what we use them in Airsoft. And as a bonus, if you ever want to go for a hike, you also have a good pair of hikers. So that's an overview of my kit for 2022. I hope you enjoyed the overview. I've tried to hit everything from some of the old favorites to some of the new pieces that I'm going to be trying out. Aside from the changes that I've talked about today, I'm not looking to make any changes for the 2022 season. I really want to settle in with all of this, get accustomed to it, and get my performance back to where it was before I made a whole bunch of these changes. Really get accustomed to my longer rifle length, my ear pro, and so on. So I'll make sure to keep you updated both on the Discord as well as in future videos. If you're not a member of the Discord community yet, highly recommend that you join. The link is in the description. As well, if you do like this video, make sure you like and leave a comment. It really does help us out. Thank you so much for watching, and we'll see you next time.